diversity in your view? Endosulfan. Endosulfan is organochlorine insecticide and acaricide. It is used as insecticide on a variety of crops including grains, tea, fruit, vegetables, tobacco, cotton. Grains, tea, fruit, vegetables, tobacco, cotton. As insecticide on a variety of crops. Grain, tea, fruit, vegetables, tobacco, and cottons. Cotton. It uses insecticides. Endosulfan. Grains, tea, used tobacco, vegetables, fruit. Is spread on the cashew plantation in Kerala. Cashew. It is generated controversy due to the potential for bioaccumulations, acute toxicity, and a possible endocrine disruptor. Not just that it affects human and animal health, but has environmental impact. Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutant that aims to eliminate, restrict production and use of persistent organic pollutant, negotiated a global ban on manufacture and use of endosulfan. Aim of eliminate or restrict production of use of persistent organic pollutant. Stockholm Conventions, persistent organic pollutants. The ban took effect in 2012. 2012, along with any developing countries, is in favor of financial and technical assistance, technology to replace endosulfan with alternatives. With rising cases deformities, stunted growth reported in Kerala. The model banned the production, distribution, and use of endosulfan. Endosulfan. Analyze. Critically interlinking between the Convention on Biological Diversity and FAO Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture. Analyze critically the interlinkage between the Convention on Biological Diversity and FAO. Actually, analyze critically that trade in valuable living organism is an age-old practice. Researchers on a trade in genetic resources are relatively new. In a modern context, there are many overlapping and sometimes conflicting aspects to genetic resources. These include biotechnology and biosafety trade. Biotechnology. देश को बचाओ 2029 पूरा यूपीएससी के लिए मत भागो, उसके साथ साथ चुनाव लड़ो, सरपंच, नॉमिन, एमपी, एमएलए, सारी स्टूडेंट्स। देश को बचाओ। जब का घोटाला हो रहा है, जबकि उम्र नहीं बढ़ रहा है। यूपीएससी का उम्र 45 साल होना चाहिए, 45 ईयर्स यूपीएससी। तो कैसे होगा? यूपीएससी बेचा जा रहा है नौकरी। आए कितने हजार करोड़ लोग पढ़ रहे हो, नौकरी ज़्यादा नहीं निकल रहा है, अंदर से भर्ती हो रहे हैं, नौकरियाँ बेचा जा रहा है। एसएससी, जीडी सब हर यूपीएससी, सिविल सर्विस, टीचर, लेक्चरर्स। तो जब ज़्यादा जॉब के लिए स्टूडेंट्स चुनाव लड़ो। गांव में भी सरपंच, वार्ड मेंबर भी नेताओं का, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का है। इंडिपेंडेंट चुनाव लड़ो, पूरा स्टूडेंट, देश का 20 करोड़ स्टूडेंट्स, देखोगे कितना नौकरी निकलेगा। पार्लियामेंट चलो, विधानसभा जाओ, बैठो वहाँ पर, देश का स्टूडेंट्स। सिर्फ यूपीएससी पे पागल होने से कुछ नहीं होता है। आइस क्या कर लेगा? काला धन लाएगा, देश का गरीबी मिटाएगा, गैस लाएगा, गैस यूक्रेन के साथ बात करेगा? कुछ नहीं। नेता बनो, बी लीडर्स, उसके बाद स्टूडेंट बनोगे, स्टूडेंट्स विथ लीडर्स। While trade in valuable living organism in age-old practices, interlink between the Convention on Biological Diversity and FAO treaty on plant genetic resources for food agriculture. While trade in valuable living organisms in usual practice, research on trade in genetic resources is relatively new. In modern context, there are many overlapping and sometimes conflicting aspects to genetic resources. Many overlapping and sometimes conflicting aspects to genetic resources. These include biotechnology and biosafety trade, intellectual property rights, conservation of the environment and biodiversity, traditional knowledge, food security and poverty eradication, health. Include biotechnology and biosafety trade, intellectual property rights, conservation of the environment and biodiversity, traditional knowledge, food security, poverty eradication, health. Intellectual property rights, conservation of the environment and biodiversity, traditional knowledge, food security, poverty eradication, health. One consequence of this multitude of angles of genetic resources is that their governance falls under the purview of numerous international organizations. Resources. The Convention on Biological Diversity and the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture at the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO. Convention on Biological Diversity CBD. There is no question that there is overlap between the CBD instrument of international law and both address, namely genetic resources. Yadio there are approaches to regulating genetic resources. The overlap between the CBD genetic resources are different. The other hand confines itself to addressing the specific issue. This overlap between the CBD and the IT means two instruments should ideally work in harmony in order to achieve their common objectives. CBD and genetic research for food and agriculture. With the article 8J, parties to the CBD agreed to respect, preserve, maintain traditional practices as far possible as appropriate subject to the national legislation. Reference is to made indigenous local communities. Evolution of green benches, higher judiciary. Supreme Court of India interpreted Article 21, which guarantees fundamental right to life and personal liberty, include the right to wholesome environment and held that litigant may assert his right to healthy environment against the state by a writ petition to the Supreme Court or the High Court. Public interest litigation has been issued by the higher judiciary to ensure environmental protection and safeguard public interest. Safeguard public interest. Actually, till 1980, much contribution was made by the court in the environment. One of the earliest cases which came to Supreme Court of India was Municipal Council, Ratlam. India has now become third country in the world to start National Green Tribunal, which is a judicial body exclusively meant to judge environmental cases. National Green Tribunal has been established under the National Green Tribunal Act 2010. India has now become the third country in the world to start National Green Tribunal (NGT), which is judicial body exclusively. Judge environment cases. The National Green Tribunal has been established under the National Green Tribunal Act. Effective and expeditious disposal of cases relating to environment protection. Expeditious disposal of cases. Conservation of forest and other natural resources. Tribunal is mandated to make endeavor for disposal of application or appeals finally within 6 months. Filing the same